Good morning. Good morning. If you can hear me, raise your hand. Sorry. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here. I hope everybody got their coffee or their, bless you, snack or whatever to sustain you for the next 45 minutes or so. Churches, we look at churches as not just a community, but as a family. Now, let's just suppose this right here is a big family. And what I would like each table to do is spend about 10 or 15 minutes on working on what position do you see in this family? Do you see yourself as maybe the father, the mother, the grandparents that come into town once a year and give you nice presents? And then you're like, oh, that's good, they were here for Christmas again, and off they go. Or is it the, aunt or uncle that lives right down the street that has helped babysit, helped, raise kids? Just think of all of the different relationships we have in family. And let's plug it into what does that look like in church? And we're going to take something with that information in just a moment. So 10 or 15 minutes, why don't you all discuss that and kind of, not necessarily, you can reflect back on your own family relationship, but think about St. Luke's as family, because every church has a unique way that they look at the community of their church. It's like one lady one time told me she'd been there forever. She goes, honey, I was here before you were, and I'll be here after you're here. And she was. So let's look at that right now and just take a couple notes so that we can share afterwards the next step. No, I was just going to say you all were. So if you're all fine together. Okay. All right. Just go around big roles in the church family. What do you mean by role? There's some other that was the little sister that then that's what I mean. That's how I came into several and maybe they call last night and not so I got 7 people. This is that no, but in the past couple of years,
I've noticed that I have some position of
for how you attract people.
wisdom, that. So, because of my younger people, practice not because I thought of this. So that's making me read the thing, or what I do, and what I say, and how I behave, and all those things.
Let's tell it like it's boring.
Yes. Oh, no, you said that. Maybe you got one. I got like you. Yeah, no, I've been here since 75.
Yeah, right.
Peter. But it was a lot of it was you're always
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah. We sing.
And you're still working on snacking.
Nancy, what's your favorite?
Oh, I just better not say. It depends on the day. How about you?
I'm the Great Alliance.
Okay.
Chip's the brother-in-law that everyone wants to invite to dinner.
Oh, that's nice. How about you, brother?
Oh, is that right?
Yes, you can tell this is So can you see how
You can just on your food.
Okay, let's wrap it up in about 2 or 3 minutes here.
especially
Yeah, well, I don't. Poor everybody. Like. But it's not a prerequisite. There are no prerequisites about the They said I should be murdered.
And, where's some there? That's not their
In addition, the other thing is, we got a jury. This is about 3 months, 3 months old. It's actually,
Okay. How did everybody do? This is something we could talk on all morning, but I would like to ask the back corner table how you all did.
We did well. We discussed it in terms of roles. I joked, I said, prospective son-in-law.
I like that.
Yeah, still.
How did that go over with the group?
But also a sibling, I mean, it's something that because depending on your role, you may not be leadership, but you can be an example. And sometimes your role changes also. Like, I'm the elder of 2 siblings, but I mentioned how my sister, in that she's married with 2 children and owns her own business, in some ways is the more mature of the 2. So, your roles can change, but then, like, if we were talking about something that was related to the arts or something like that, where I have more of a background, then, I can actually do more. And that's what I've talked to my niece or nephew, and relate to them in that level. So, I'm trying to take more of an active role. And it's one of the few times I've been around people who are actually newer than I am, in a group. So, the sibling who kind of varies and, according to the situation.
What would that be? What might be that church member who's been a member a long time and has been the senior warden, has been the junior warden, has been almost everything you could be at the church at some point in time? Is that sibling whose roles are kind of changing, or is that the system, for lack of having that family member, just says, well, it doesn't matter if you don't know how to use a hammer, you're going to be a junior warden because we don't have anybody.
Right. I guess I don't have as much of the long-term perspective for that, and we were talking about how we were raised in our previous faith traditions, and so I came from a Roman Catholic background and was not attending church regularly for many years, so we didn't have as much latitude or input into those things. It was kind of like, it's like, okay, you retired, you get a new guy, or he's a Monsignor now, so this person's like that.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't have much in the way of that. I've been on search committees before in terms of getting interns or new assistants or whatever in business and entertainment, but it's a different role. So I guess it varies. It varies on how much you need and how much time you have and how much I'm trying to be more active.
That's good.
Bring more people.
Very good. You all did a great job. How about you all in the middle? It's awfully quiet.
Well, the first part was easy. I'm a crazy uncle in the attic.
In the attic.
So is that Uncle Fester?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You get a lot. No, no, no. that's-
Yeah, he could light up a light bulb.
Yeah,
Yeah, could you do that?
and then the new son-in-law.
Yeah.
And
I'm a child, I'm a follower. My wife's the leader, I'm a follower.
yesterday.
Did you all find any family member that is kind of unusual, not necessarily in every family, but is definitely a family member at St. Luke's?
What's that?
Well,
Siblings.
like say somebody is the baby of a large family. I had a friend in Cancun, she was number 3 of 7. And she said it drove her nuts when their dad introduced them because he would say, here's my son, here's my daughter, and the other 5. And he just called them the other 5. And she said, I was number 3, I would have been the next one up for a name, but no, I'm the beginning of the other 5. So that kind of relationship, do we see anything like that, you know, in the life of the church here? Where there's a bunch and it's like, oh, well, I'm just one of the other 5.
Were you asking all of us the question, about is there?
Yeah, just throwing it out for you all.
Sibling is
Yeah.
one.
Any other thoughts from the table? Yes, sir.
I just have a question about the metaphor of family. It has a lot of attractions, but it has limitations.
Right.
Families are inherently stable, they ebb and flow, you know, and they come and go.
Mm-hmm.
And a church is something more than that. At least we hope it is. It aspires to bring continuity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder why you chose the family metaphor as opposed to community or
Right.
something like
Well, we talk about ourselves as, you know, a large family. That reference is often made, where I guess there's a lot of same, you know, similarities that would track together. Everybody's got someone that it stretches the patience of the whole family to deal with them. And there's communities, obviously, that have those same people too. But I was thinking about, we were in Guatemala once, and the women had these beautiful embroidered blouses. I started noticing they were kind of the same. And in this part of Guatemala, what is more important is what village you are a part of than your individual, who you are. And so the embroidery all represented a particular community. So all the women's blouses were embroidered for that community. And so you knew when you saw her at the market, she's from, you know, this little village. Now, you know, the guys didn't do it, of course, but the women did. And so you could look at their blouses. But we've kind of moved fast forward to that in the 21st century. We all love shirts that say something on it and such. I was just, you know, at this Elton John concert Friday night in Dallas, and there was a 2-hour wait to get a t-shirt or something. And that line never stopped all night. So obviously we like to have things that identify us in some, you know, way or fashion. So I guess that's to go back to your point about the family versus community. Okay, ladies.
So we had some new ones: godmother, grandmother, great-grandmother, friend of the family, and then foster siblings that were adopted.
Very good. How about you all?
Well, we had a great uncle we go to for 5s. We had the brother-in-law,
Yeah, the trouble brother.
trouble brother-in-law.
Boy, these poor
Oh my
brother-in-laws
goodness.
had a rough time, didn't they?
Another older sibling, another sibling, and then a middle child.
And how did they act? What were the dynamics of that group?
common interest in football.
So we do, we wouldn't hang out.
We're part of the UT community.
Yes. Well, taking, did you have involvement in church committees or staff and how that kind of related to other like directing, or whatever you go to for advice, might delegate the little child that's learning.
No, and I think something from the other table that I heard, which is something I thought about afterwards with one who was a friend of the family over there. I know in our family, we have some friends, so, you know, that we have very deep relationships with what we consider family, that my kids call an aunt and uncle, and people get confused, like, oh, we're related, well, we're really, like, yes, you know, we're family. And so, I wonder if that gets to something like Paul was saying, of, you know, is that sort of what we're striving for, is that deep friend of the family relationship. Because if you're someone who's moved away from your family, that's who you have.
Right.
You don't have mom, dad, cousins, brothers, uncles.
Good point. Good point.
You're deeply investing in your church family or your neighbors or your kids' parents that you become friends with, or whatever your circle is, to kind of fill in that role of family. It's not necessarily just the biological role.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? I wanted to hear more about your foster child.
Well, you kind of know my story, like coming here from, I was really broken coming into this place because the Catholic Church, tell you the story, so Catholic Church didn't approve Craig's annulment, and so we saw it as God's sign that we were supposed to worship together, but coming in here, I felt so broken and like lost and like a foster child feels, like, you know, you get uprooted in the middle of the night. And yet more recently, I heard God say, I wasn't taking you away from the Catholic Church, I was leading you and Craig to something.
Yeah.
And so we got very easily accepted as family, but it was just felt like middle of the night, grab your pillow and go to this foster family. So, and my best friend, who's a friend of the family, is foster mom, so I that answer?
Yes, it's really powerful.
So you guys were so welcome. We felt welcome to be here.
Huge difference. Well, now what we're going to do is keep in mind who you were, and we're going to mix up the tables. So all of a sudden now there's going to be that foster child's going to be with someone else, and mix it up so that you keep your same role, but now you're taking it to another part of the family. So you got to move 2 or 3 people out of your table. You all, we're going to break.
Yeah, we were just sharing a story. Okay, right. Hello. I mean, like, you know, intellectual pursuits or travel or stuff like that. I had much more inclination to that. But my sister was, you know, always very practical and very family-oriented and lives 6 miles from very
your business going?
And talked about the role, the family role. So it's a family role, but also this in the church family. And some of those things like grandmother
We had a chance to.
I was just ready to roll to the next thing. So I want to see what kind of the family.
Yes.
We were too busy talking
They were also, Minnesota's one way away from everywhere.
You got it.
Realize over the decades,
That was my description of you. I said God because, not because I think so, but also I realized recently that that's the way people are relating to me. 5 years. I've got to be careful what I say.
Really good side of it.
Yeah.
And I think your religious background is it's not really that. I would say I would be most. That's always like, everybody else is that I think yes, my parents get together.
We were somewhere, and there were some of the friends there, somebody needed something, she said, go ask him, can he answer? Okay.
I think
Yes. Did you have some?
I am. It's not much people do That happened this morning. And she didn't go to messages.
It's time for her to find some.
We will be absolutely there.
For sure. It's some of the things I think are funny.
But they were better.
So focused on doing these.
So when Sarah and I met,
You know.
so I was there.
I've seen this before.
It was less than all of these. Years. Because we all. But there was so that when we moved here, it didn't care. Even in our own people did not even realize I've always actually liked being here.
Let's try and wrap it up in 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah. I guess the same as your daughter. We have lots of family
And Mother Teresa.
And a lot of times there's challenges and yes. And this they get this attention, half the attention, this gets half the attention.
And in fact, I they always
we came here to worship. That wasn't the drive. We were switching the place where we worship. Remember this song? Probably pretty good.
We're all like short time. Oh, yeah. There was even dinner.
So you would have 4 generations and then 14 generations. So that's.
So how did it go?
Right, yeah, so like that's a challenge.
Okay, let's wrap it. We're gonna let the table over here to my right start. You all see how it felt, being mixed up again. You liked that little family group you have, and now these other family members came in, and the one you liked is gone. And you couldn't go with them to the table. You're stuck here with that other person that you hope to only see at family reunions every 10 years.
Right, which could happen just with the birth of a new sibling. It's still a difference.
So how did you all feel when it got mixed up over it?
We realized early on, I think, that the other parts that we hadn't talked about before in our other group are equally important. We just hadn't thought of them. So that was interesting. We had an aunt, a mom, although I like better air traffic controller, and a middle child, and a godmother, and what were you? Family friend.
That was a good mix you all had.
Yeah, very good mix.
How about you all over here?
With a prospective son-in-law.
Did it get any better at this table?
I think we're all one happy family here. Sure. So I think one thing that we didn't have at the table that I was at previously is we didn't have any sort of heritage, people that have been here a really long time. So that was nice to
Fresh.
make that connection and hear that perspective on how the family's changed over a longer period of time.
That's very good. How about you all in the back?
They're all introverted.
Well, that's not a mistake for me there.
We're going run to run.
So, we pretty much stayed the same as we were, you know, it's kind of like with family, you know, you don't get to pick your family, you deal with the hand you're dealt, and, you know, do the best with it, and, you know, those families that do well with that, you know, will gel, and, you know, others, you know, may have challenges, but, you know, family was one of the, as Jim pointed out, family was the one thing that was consistent over time. You know, friends that come and go, even though family may go and come physically, they're still, you know, you're still bound by, you know, blood, emotion, and history, all that. You're still the family, even though, and people may morph from function to function in the family, as, you know, decades go on. So we have to be sensitive to that.
Taking that, how could you spin that into what is that same family blood that holds a church family together?
It has to be Christian love.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you all. How about in the corner?
So, yeah, we changed a little bit. So, so Carol and I said we're the baby kids. Like, we're new, the newest ones. We're like, hey, here, we want to help. Do you want us to sweep the floor? We were joking about that. And then Jeff and Brian didn't stop talking, so we gave them the entertaining uncle and the wise uncle. Brian has a lot of stories to tell.
This is, if you think about this switch you all just made from the one table to the next, is kind of what the church is going through right now as an interim. You've gone from being this one family that had it all figured out, and then it got shaken up and, you know, thrown back in again. So in a way, what you all just did is what you're doing every Sunday, you know, trying to figure out this new family, and you're kind of getting shuffled around, and I know some of that's my asking you to do it, and thank you all for cooperating, but you are kind of being shaken around. Yes, ma'am.
Here's something that you said, the family blood, what came to me, which is so important about the Episcopal Church, is the body of Christ. We get to receive Christ physically, each and every one of us, and then
Right.
that's, he's in us, fully in us.
Yeah, that's. Thank you.
What you just said about the dynamics, situations, you know, you think you have it, I mean, that happens in your own personal.
Right, exactly.
You know, that was a good comparison when you brought that up. I just.
That we do get shaken up at home too, and
Which
families.
makes you focus on what's important.
Right.
And,
Do you all, obviously, you showed up today and thank you, but this idea of getting to actually share this and put into words your relationships with each other. Because a church community is like a family, you know, with all the good and bad and everything else that comes with it. So for the health of all of St. Luke's, they're benefiting by what you all are doing here on Sunday mornings. So thank you very much. And if you would like to, I encourage you to invite another family member next Sunday to also come, because that would be great. So like, here's a family member, we could grab that one with a baseball cap on. That's that little kid. But any other thoughts? Well, let's close with the Lord's Prayer today. So if we could all just stand. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you.